Shankaram Shabhuma Shankararya Pitha Sadgurun Shuddha Sattva Bhasuran Suvartmanita Bhusuran Sarva Bhuta Saukhyadan Khamakaran Yatishwaran.
Oh, Smriti Purananam Alayam Krunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shri Guru Charanadvandvam Vate Matita Dussahadvandvam Krantigrahopashantim Pamsumayam Basita Matanute. So after finishing the Panchakosha Viveka, now the Atma Tattvam, which is beyond the Panchakoshas, is being explained. So the first shloka in this topic is Idanim Atma Tattvam Statma Tattva Swarupam Pradarshayati. Now the Atma Tattva Swarupa, that is the Atman as it is being taught in these shlokas. Yes Purati Bimba Bhutaha Sabha Bhavet Ananda Eva Sakalatma Pragurdhvamapicha Sattvat Adhikaritvat Abadhyamanatvat. So he is giving reasons to say or to show how Atman is completely distinct from the Panchakoshas. Yahas Purati Bimba Bhutaha. Bimba Bhutaha means it is the original consciousness which is resplendent. Sabhavet Anandaha Eva Sakalatma. So that Bimba Bhuta Ananda, that is the original Ananda, that is the Atma or Brahma Ananda, that Ananda Swarupa is Sakalatma. It is the innermost self or the true self of every Jiva, Sakalatma. How do you say that? Pragurdhvamapicha Sattvat. It is available before and after. Before and after what? That is being stated in the commentary. Sattvat. Avikaritvat. It doesn't undergo any transformations. Then Abadhyamanatvat. It never gets annulled. It never gets falsified by any other knowledge. So here in the commentary, yes Purati Bimbabhutaha iti. Yahas Purati Bimbabhutaha Bimbatvena Dehadvayadhishthanatvena Spurati. So it is the Adhishtanam, that is the substratum of the twin bodies. Twin bodies means the Sthula Shariram, that is the gross body, and the Sukshma Shariram, that is the subtle body. So this Atman is the Adhishtanam for both these bodies. Spurati. So by saying this, the Acharya is conveying that both these bodies are unreal. The Panchakoshas constitute these two bodies. That is in the Panchakoshas, the Annamaya Kosha is the gross body and the rest constitute the subtle body. So both these are unreal. That's why it's called Mithyatma. The Shastra, as we have seen many number of times before, talks of three types of Atma. There is a Mithyatma, Mukhyatma and Gaunatma. So Mithyatma is the five koshas, because not knowing that truth, we identify with that and say we are that. But then the Shastra has to come and say that, show that this is not you. You are actually the one that shines or illumines these five koshas. So that way you are distinct from these five koshas. That is the Mukhyatma. And the Gaunatma is what we say is that belongs to me, he or she or whatever objects, estate and all that belongs to me. That is called Gaunatma. So here the Acharya is showing that the two bodies, that is the Karna Shariram and the Sukshma Shariram and the Sthula Shariram, they constitute the Mithyatma. Of course, Karna Shariram is the Avidya, Mula Avidya, which is the cause for these two Atmas, these two Sharirams. So here the Atman is the Shuddha Chaitanyam, which is the substratum, Adhisthana. Then Adhisthanatvena Spurati. So that alone shines. prakashate saha anandaha eva anandam swarupaha eva sakalatma sarvesham praninam atma. So here, by saying that the adhishtanam is the one which shines, whereas the aropitam which borrows the shine from that. So here also he is teaching a very important Advaitic tenet, that when we consider the analogy of rope snake, the rope alone is there and the snake is the one superimposed. A person who is under the delusion of the rope snake, he says this snake is there. But what is actually happening is he is transferring the existence, satta, asitvam of the rope onto the snake without knowing. So here also, the two bodies, the panchakoshas, are they appear to be existing and they appear to be real, and they actually get the shine and this existence from the adhishtanam, that is the Atman. So, spurati prakashate saha anandaha eva ananda swarupaha eva sakala atma. So he is calling it Ananda Swarupam. It's also very, very pertinent because in that Taitiriya Shruti of the which describes the Panchakoshas, after the Anandamaya Kosha, it ends by saying Ananda Atma Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. So Ananda Atma. So the Atma is Ananda Swarupa. For all the Anandas, the Atma is the Brahman, is the Adhishtanam, or the substratum on which all the other Anandas are superimposed. So all the other Anandas which we experience with Taratamya, there is differentiated Anandas depending on the object and all that. They are actually the manifestations of this pure original Ananda. So that original Ananda is this Atman. Tatra hetavaha ragurdhvamapi annamayadinam patti vinashyottaram satvat vidyamanatvat avikaritvat. So here the shloka is giving some reasons why this Atman is alone is real when compared to the other panchakoshas. So tatra hetavaha pragurdhvamapi annamayadinam utpatti vinashottam satvat. So the Atman is there before the rise of the panchakoshas, and it is there after the fall or the astamanam of the panchakoshas. So here we can take the meaning which is very, very close to us in our day-to-day experiences, that in the deep sleep, the annamaya kosha, all the five panchakoshas are not experienced in deep sleep. So it is there. It is not available in the deep sleep. But then the Atman is always available. And when we wake up from the deep sleep, the panchakoshas come to be experienced. So then the Atman is there before the rise of the panchakoshas, and it is there even after the disappearance of the, or in the sense when they cease to be experienced, then also the Atman is there. So prag urdhvam, before the panchakoshas rise, and after the panchakoshas have settled or set, then also the Atman is available. It never rises or sets. So satvat, then avikaritvat, it doesn't undergo any transformations at all, no vikara at all, whereas the panchakoshas, they constantly undergo vikaras. That is, whenever thought comes, then there's vikara in the buddhi, manas and all that. And whenever there's movement, the body undergoes vikara, and the prana is always undergoing vikara because it's the life force. So this way, the panchakoshas undergo vikara constantly, whereas the Atman is opposite. It never undergoes any vikara. So there is one hetu. Then the first hetu is, it is there available before the rise of the Atman, of the panchakoshas, and after the setting of the panchakoshas, it is available. That is the first reason. Second one is, it is free from any vikaras, that is transformations. And the third one is abadhyamanatvat, that is viparimanarahitatvat, abadhyamanatvat, bada ayogyatvat. So this Atma is never sublated, never sublated, in the sense it is never negated or it is never annulled by any other knowledge or at any state whatsoever. So this Atman is abadhyam. Abadhyam means it is Satyam. For Satyam, the meaning given is Abadhya, the Abadhyamanatvam. Abadhya is, one Badha is a sublation or negation, whereas the opposite is Abadhyamanatvam. So the Atman never becomes a subject of annulling or negation, sublation. So that way, this Atman is ever real. It never undergoes negation and comes to be called unreal. Whereas the Panchakoshas, they upon the knowledge of the truth or the knowledge of the real Atman, the Panchakoshas get annulled or they become sublated as unreal. Whereas the Atman never undergoes any sublation. So he's showing, he's citing a Upanishadic passage also. Vijnana manandam brahma ityadi shrutibhyascha atma trivida paricheda shunyaha ananda swarupaha siddhaha. So this Vijnana manandam brahma is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which says Vijnanam is a pure sentience or consciousness. Anandam is pure bliss, that is Brahman. Whereas in the Taittiriya Upanishad, we have the other statement also, that is Satyam Dhyanam Anantam Brahma. So there, Satyam is pure existence, which is not something which is subject to coming into being. When we talk of the pot, when we say the pot exists actually only after coming into being. So before that, it is not existent. It was not existent. And after the pot is destroyed, we no longer say that the pot exists. So that way, the pot's existence is subject to beginning and end, or being produced and destroyed. Whereas the Atman never comes into existence to be called it exists. So it is ever existent. So that existence is what is pure existence or absolute existence, and that is the Lakshanam, Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman, is the Taittiriya Upanishad teaches. Then Jnanam is Jnana Swarupam, pure consciousness. It is not any vritti consciousness. It is not any objectified consciousness, or there is no content. There is no object content like I know this thing, or I know that thing, or I know I have this knowledge. I have the knowledge of this some faculty. So there, in all those cases, the knowledge has some content. Whereas here, that worldly content is not there. It is pure essence, that is pure consciousness, which alone transforms, in the sense when the upadhis, through the upadhis, this alone is manifesting. So this is unmanifest, pure Shuddha Chaitanya. Then Ananta. So Anantam is finite. For that, the standard explanation is Trivida Paricheda Shunyam. That is what this commentator also is saying. Trivida Paricheda Shunyam, the three types of limitations are not there for Atman, that's Brahman. The three limitations are Desha Parichedaha, Kala Parichedaha, and Vastu Parichedaha. That is time-wise limitation, object-wise, space-wise limitation, and object-wise limitation. Everything that is not the Atman cannot be said to be free from these three types of limitations. So anything that is created, it was not there before creation, and it will cease to be after destruction. So it has got a time-wise limitation. Then in the space-wise limitation, this object is here, it is not there. So that way it has got a space-wise limitation, and this object is not that object. So that way each object limits the other object. So that way object-wise limitation is there for created beings, whereas the Brahman does not have any kind of limitation at all, because there is nothing apart from Brahman. So Brahman, no other object can claim to be different from Brahman, because Brahman is all-pervading, and it is the cause of everything. In the sense, everything is superimposed in Brahman. So nothing has the substratum apart from Brahman. So it doesn't have an existence apart from Brahman. That way, no real object can cause any real limitation to Brahman. So that way, Paricheda Shunyam, Shunyaha Ananda Swarupaha Siddhaha. So this Atman has been shown to be distinct from the Panchakoshas with so much of reasoning and scriptural support. So moving on to the next shloka number 15. Nano Annamayadhyaha Yatha Anubhuyante Tatha Atma अस्ति चेत् सर्वैः कुतः न अनुभूयते अतः एतद् व्यतिरिक्तः आत्मा नास्ति इति चेत् उच्यते. So a question is raised, if this Atma is not experienced by anybody, because we are experiencing the Panchakoshas in such a with so much vivid clarity, whereas the Atman is not at all experienced that way. So in the way the Panchakoshas are experienced, the Atma, if you say it is existent, it has to come for our experience. But nobody experiences the Atma the way Panchakoshas are experienced. Therefore, you cannot say that there is an Atma existing apart from the Panchakoshas. Ataha yatad vyatiriktaha Atma nasti che. So that is a question raised, that is a doubt or the question or the objection raised, for which this shloka is an answer to that doubt. It clarifies that doubt. Annamaya dehe asmad aparam yadi na anubhuyate kinchite anubhavita annamaya dehe asti iti asmin na kaschid apalapaha. So annamaya dehe asmad aparam yadi na anubhuyate. So if this Atman is not experienced by apart from these Panchakoshas, this Atman is not experienced as a distinct entity apart from Panchakoshas, if that is a doubt you have, then the reply is it is giving a reasoning. It's very interesting. This reasoning is very interesting. It says there is an experiencer of these Panchakoshas. That I am the experiencer of these Panchakoshas cannot be negated by anyone. So once you have been shown that the Panchakoshas are different from you, in the sense the Panchakoshas are objectified by you, you can't deny yourself. So as the experiencer as the observer of the Panchakoshas. So Annamaya Anubhavita is the experiencer or the observer. Annamaya dehe Anubhavita asti iti asmin Vishaye na kaschid apalapaha. There cannot be any objection or this experience that I am the one who am experiencing the Panchakoshas. That can never be questioned, or it can never be set aside. So in the commentary, the Acharya explains Annamaya dehe. Annamaya dehe asmat sarvanubhava gocharat kosha panchakat aparam atmatattvam na anubhuyate. So that is, so he is rephrasing the question or the doubt. So apart from the Panchakoshas, there is no Atman that is being experienced by anybody. So that is a question or the doubt. Kinchit kimapi vastu asti vastu iti ched uchate. There is no such thing as Atman which can be experienced apart from these Panchakoshas. If that is a question raised, tarihi annamaya Annamaya dehe anubhavita. So the anubhavita, the experiencer of the Panchakoshas, that is the one who is objectifying the Panchakosha, the observer of the Panchakoshas, tesham jnata. So the one who knows, in the sense the one who objectifies them and knows them. In the sense he knows the one who knows the Panchakoshas are different from oneself. Jnata ete annamaya deha iti. So how do we know them? We know them as these are the Panchakoshas. So that way we can even articulate that. Iti jnanavan, that person who is able to articulate this way. Anyaha asti iti asmin arte. There is a person who can easily articulate these five koshas are different from him by observing them in his own experience. That kind of a person or that kind of an entity you can never set aside. So asmin arte kasyachit kasyapi purushasya apalapaha bhrantihi asti. So nobody has any kind of delusion in this aspect. So everybody can easily relate to this teaching of the Vedanta when it shows it, when it very clearly analyzes and puts across this fact to a person. So there can't be any objection to this kind of question, this fact at all. Sarvairapi katadi jnaya padarthate jnata bhinna eva iti anubhuyate. So he's giving an analogy, very easy, nice analogy also. When I perceive a pot, I can easily know that I am different from the pot. So the knower of the pot is distinct from the pot. So that is the analogy he gives. Sarvairapi gatadi, any object which is objectified, So the person who knows the object is different from the object. So sarvairapi gatati jnaya padarthat jnata bhinnaha eva iti anubhuyate. So everybody has this experience. In the same way, the panchakoshas are also to be seen as objects which you illumine or which you know as a distinct entity from yourself. So the next shloka, it has got a karika which is called an introduction to the next shloka. Nanu anubhavaniya padartha anubhavitva anyaha atma padartha asti iti chete tasyapi kaschit anubhavita apekshate iti cheduchate. Okay, if you say that there is an entity who is distinct from the panchakoshas and who is the observer of the panchakoshas, then there has to be someone who experiences this Atman which is distinct from the panchakoshas. So that has to be accepted. So that is the question here. So if you say that the Atma is, so here the logic is behind the question, any object is there, there is a knower of that object. Any entity is there, there is a knower of that entity, which is distinct from it. So if you say this Atman is there, which is distinct from the panchakoshas, and this is also an entity, then the Atman also has to be known by someone or some other entity. We can say that this entity exists. So that is the logic behind the question. So the answer given is Swayameva Anubhavatvat Yadyat Pietasya Na Anubhavyatvam Sakrita Pyatma Abhava Shanka Na Bhavet Bodhaswarupasattayaha. So the sloka is somewhat tersely worded. The commentary will give us much clarity. Swayameva Anubhavatvat. So this Atman is Anubhava Swarupa itself. So it doesn't need anybody else or any other entity to experience it. So Swayameva, it is very Anubhava. Atma Sarvanubhoho. There is a Shruti Vakya also. That is verily experience. So you can't deny it at all. So Swayameva Anubhavatvat Yadyadya Pietasya Na Anubhavyatvam. So this Atman can never come under the category of being experienced. So it itself is experience. So it can't be subjected to some other experience. So it cannot become an object of experience because it itself is experience, pure experience. Sakritapi abhava shanka na bhavet bodhaswarupa sattayaha. So this satta, the bodha swarupa, that is the atma swarupa, which is pure consciousness, which is bodha swarupam is pure consciousness. Regarding the existence of this pure consciousness, there can never ever be any doubt. So doubt in the sense of the satta. Satta is the existence. So one can never doubt that the Atman is non-existent because one's own swarupam is this anubhava swarupa, which is bodha swarupa. So no one claims that everybody claims, or even if he doesn't know to articulate it well, everybody knows that he is a sentient entity because he is experiencing other things. So only with the Shastra is only putting things in a very clearer perspective so that he can appreciate the pure Atman. So everybody, without even being taught, everybody knows that he is a sentient entity. So that's what Bhagavat Pada also says in the Adhyasa Bhashya, that nobody denies his experience, his own existence. Nobody denies his own existence. Nobody doubts whether I am existent or not. But the Shastra is there to only show that when we say that I am existent or existing, we mix up the non-Atman, that the Panchakoshas also, and then say I am existent. The Shastra comes only to separate the Panchakoshas from us and show us clearly what we are and who we are really, and what we are not really. So this is for this alone the Upanishads are required, not for anything else. Bhagavad Pada puts it so very nicely there. So in the commentary, Swayameva Swasya Atmanaha Anubhava Swarupatvat Yadyadapi Tasmat Tasya Atmanaha Anubhavyatvam Anubhava Gocharatvam Nasti. So since everyone is by himself, by oneself, this pure experience itself, that is Anubhava itself, that is the Atmanaha Anubhavaha. The Atman experience is there for everyone. So nobody can set aside or deny this Atman. Anubhavyatvam, Anubhava Gocharatvam Nasti. So this Atma, which is experience itself, cannot become an object of experience. So anubhavyatvam is something which is coming as which is taking the role of being experienced. So this Atman is never of that type. So nasti iti etavata sakridapi ekasminapi kale anubhava shanka atmanaha nasti. So this in no other in no moment this Atman is doubted as whether it is to be experienced or it is whether it is an object of experience or not. So this Atmanaha nasti iti evam prakara na bhavet na jayeta. That is, the Atman can never become an object of experience. It is always the experiencing swarupam. If you want to use a verb like that, but then it is the pure experience itself, the noun experience. So bodha swarupa sattayaha jnana swarupa vidyamanastvasya kalatrepi jnana swarupatvena atmanaha abhavaha na sambhavati. So this pure consciousness, that is the pure bodha swarupam, jnana swarupam, atma swarupam, which is ever existent, which is never produced at all, which is naturally uncaused, unproduced existence, which will never go out of existence. So we can bring in so many familiar scriptural passages. The one which comes to our mind immediately is the second chapter, 2.16 shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, Nasuto vidyate bhavo, na abhavo vidyate sataha. So this Sat Swarupam, which is also Chit Swarupam, it can never go out of existence. So that's the teaching there. And then an oft quoted, cited passage of the Upanishad, which Bhagavad likes very much, that is, Nahi drashtuhu drishtehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvat. So it says that, so all of us are knowers. All of us are knowers of something or other. We are experiencers of something or other. But then this being a knower has got two dimensions. One is the knower, the knower who is part of the knowing process. So the knower, non-knowing, that process is there. So this Pramatru is called, he is the part of the knowing process. Whereas there is another dimension to this knower, which is the pure consciousness dimension, which is the one which illumines the triad, the Triputi, the knower, knowing, known. This process itself is illumined by the other pure Chaitanya. So this Upanishad passage says that this pure consciousness, which is the one which is the one which illumines the knower or knower knowing that process, which is actually the pure I. This is the E by E, I of the knower. In the sense, this is the one which really knows, which really illumines. Whereas the other one is only a secondary type of knowing. So there is no way this pure consciousness goes out of existence, because its nature is avinashitvam. So it is of the nature of not being annihilated at all. So it will never experience any destruction. So it is indestructible. So nahi drashtuhu drishtehe. So drashta is the one who knows everything. There is the Pramatru who is the Jiva, whereas the Drishti is the pure consciousness which is behind him for all his purposes, whether he sees or hears or smells or tastes or anything. For everything, we require that pure consciousness. So that pure consciousness will never go out of existence. It is indestructible by nature itself. So that also is very, very helpful in our understanding this. Bodha Swarupa Sattayaha Jnanaswarupa Vidyamanattvasya Kalatrayepi Jnanaswarupatvena Atmanaha Abhavaha Na Sambhavati. So in all the three times, past, present, and future, this Atma Swarupam will never ever go out of existence. So this is the statement from the Upanishad, which is being paraphrased in this way in the commentary. So Jagadan, so he has given a reason also why it doesn't go out of existence. If suppose we think of a situation where it goes out of existence, then the Shastra gives a specific or a very standard reasoning. Jagadantya prasangaha. That is, the world will cease to be known at all. So the world will cease to be known in the sense. So the literal meaning is the world will become pure darkness. So the world will cease to be known at all, but that doesn't happen at all. So this is also an indication that the Atman is ever available. So, so here also in the Taitri, for example, the Pandukya Upanishad, the three states three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. So all the three states are explained so very well. And the Atman is, the Turiya is the one which experiences the three states or which illumines these three states, being distinct from the three states. So that will be an elaborate topic by itself. So here we will end the session here. Shri Guru Charana Dvandvam Vande Mathita Dussahadvandvam Bhrantigrahopashantim Pamsumayam Vasita Matanute Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santame Janma Janmani Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvagnam Vidushekara Bharatim Om Tatsat.